Peter Challoner. Is it relative night? Is it brother night?
This is a happy story, I hope you don't mind. And I may have early onset Alzheimer's, so if I drift off, remind me, and the two words to shout are aftershave and scrotum. So this is a ritual about Old Spice, aftershave, and one's scrotum. But I have to lead in for most of the minutes, and then the ceremony is at the end, right? So I come from Glasgow in Scotland, which has a wicked socialist government, and the problem with that is the students get more money than they know what to do with, and they don't get it as a loan, they get it given to them to keep. And I was a student first in 1967, and I had this problem that you over here in the land of the free, you never have the problem of being a student having more money than you know what to do with. But over there in benighted socialist land, I had this problem, and I lived, you know, ate, drank beer for a year, as one does at university, and then I found out all this money left over, and I thought, what do I do with this money? So I looked on the bulletin board at the college, and it said, flights to Toronto and back. $45. Not each way, round trip. So I thought, oh, I've still got $45. So I paid the $45, and I came to Abitibi Paper Company in Toronto, and I made cardboard boxes for 3 months. And it was like 90 degrees outside in Toronto, and it was like 100 and something inside, because making cardboard boxes is a very, very hot process. So I had always loved the United States. I always felt being born in Scotland was a mistake at central casting, because I was born in 1949, all the TV programs, all American. I grew up with the Lucy Show. Even before that, I grew up with something called the Burns and Allen Show. Is anybody old enough to remember that? And talk about early onset Alzheimer's. I felt like I had it when I was 5. I'd be watching this Burns and Allen show. I had to run all the way up the block because we didn't have a TV. And in a neighbor's, I'd watch this guy with a cigar. And he was going like, and then everybody would go, ha! And I had no idea what they were laughing at. I was 5, you know, you don't really get it. The only bit I got was at the end when he said, say goodnight, Gracie. And everybody laughed at that as well. So anyway, here I am in America, and I'd been very square my first year at university. I wore a sports jacket and a collar and tie and looked like a kind of bank guy. But then I'd read in the paper there were these things called hippies. So I thought, well, what I'll do is I'll hitchhike to Haight-Ashbury, because I had all this money from working in the cardboard box factory. So I hitchhiked to San Francisco. From Toronto. No, I got the bus to Buffalo. I couldn't believe Buffalo. Buffalo, United States, made of wood. Anyway, then I got the Greyhound bus. It said, drug offenders must make themselves known. I thought, this is promising, this is good. Yeah. So I hitchhiked to San Francisco, and was walking up and down Haight-Ashbury, and everybody said, oh, it's over, they should have been here last year, you know. I saw a guy say to another guy, I'll sell you a whole lid for $5. And the other guy says, great. And the guy pulls out a pickle jar lid. And goes, so after San Francisco, I hitchhiked to Tijuana. And I thought, you know, I'm got to go home back to Scotland, and I don't look very hippie. I was growing my hair as fast as I could, but it was still pretty short. So I went to Woolworths in Tijuana, and I bought, they had like a hippie section, so I bought this serape, Mexican serape, multicolored. I've only got a minute left, hardly 1 minute in. Anyway, then I went back to Scotland. I arranged to meet my friends in Ireland. We went to this part of Ireland called Bundoran, which is like Glasgow West. It's all urban and, you know, kind of horrible. And we were in this bar, and this Irishman said to us, when you get married, there was 4 of us there, he said, when you get married, son, never marry a beautiful woman. And then his wife came in and I said, oh, he's followed his own advice, he was no hypocrite. So then we left the bar and we went to where the girls were. And the girls were unavailable or not checking in that night. And I thought, well, I'll just go home. All this time I'm wearing my serape. So I'm walking away from where the girls are. And a message comes from, you know how girls always have friends? The girl's friend runs up and says, she wants the guy in the blanket. So I go back to the girl, and she says, come on with me, I'll show you where the necking place is. So this big sea roaring in like this, because it was late in the season, September, big sea. And she takes me up to the public toilets. So we're leaning against the wall. Everybody's a virgin in this whole story. We're leaning against the wall and she's kind of, you know, leaning in, and we're doing all this stuff that people used to do before they had sexual intercourse. I mean, it's too late for all you, but I really recommend it. It's A1. Anyway, she starts telling me her problems. And I'm going, And then there's another problem, So the deal is, I get told a problem and then we nag for a long time. It's a sweet deal. And she says to me, I never have sex with anybody, but if I was going to, I'd have it with you. I thought, great. And then she said, now I've got to go home. So she went home and I just ran towards where my friends were. I ran on clouds. I thought, this is my career. This is my future. What I'm going to do is listen to women. The payoff is great. So I came into the room, and they, who didn't get off with anybody, and had all been plotting what to do with me when I came back, they said, we found a very refreshing thing to do. They said, it's very refreshing if you slap Old Spice on both your hands and then rub your scrotum. And you look like you need refreshing, so why don't you do this? What do they think I am, dumb? I knew this was a trick, but I was so happy. I had my whole future laid out before me, and it was such a fantastic evening. I said, yeah, sure, I'll do it. So I rubbed Old Spice on both my hands, and I rubbed it on my nuts. And everybody went, ha, 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 because it was quite painful. But I didn't mind. I wanted them to be happy. I was so happy. I wanted them to be happy. That's it.